Welcome everyone to my channel called Harb Kafir, brought to you by the Dar el Harb Center for Islamic Studies and me, your host, Harb Kafir. So however you found this channel, it is my most fervent hope that you'll return to learn more about the ideology that attempts to pass itself off as the religion of peace. That would be Islam, and how it affects us folks known in Islam as Kafirs. Now, usually I write a script, but no script this week. I'm working on one for Sharia. That'll be my next episode. But I got a treat yesterday. Now, it's past midnight. Yeah, yesterday I got a little treat, and I wanted to share that with you. So I just went ahead and decided to give everyone here that pays attention to the Dar el Harb Center for Islamic Studies, to give you some reading suggestions and some reading material. Start with the first one of the first books I ever got that deals with the subject of Islam. This is not required, but this is, if you're a history buff, you'll really like this book. It's by Raymond Ibrahim. Kind of name might that be? But anyway, The Sword and the Scimitar. That is 1400 years of, 14 centuries of war between Islam and the West. And we're in there, folks. We make it into this book right towards the end with Thomas Jefferson. But that's a really good book, one of the first ones. But these next books, now they are kind of, I hate to require anything, but these are the best books that I have, ever found that explain Islam quickly and easily, so us Kafirs can understand everything about what we need to know about Islam. You know, don't worry about going to have this all about political Islam. I've told you about this fellow before, Dr. Bill Warner, PhD, and his books are made small so he can pass them out when he's doing lobbying, state legislature, whoever, because he wanted to have books that were small enough for people to sit down and read quickly. Didn't involve a whole bunch because he was aiming them towards politicians. So there's 4 of them. They are great books. You can get them from his Political Islam site. Got these from where everybody gets their books these days, Amazon. The first one is, I've talked about these things, folks, the Sira, the biography of Mohammed. He explains the life story, when he was born, when he died, how he died, a lot of things in between that impact us Kafirs. So there you go. There's one of them, the Sira, Life of Muhammad. The next one, you've heard me talking about these, the Hadiths. That's the Hadiths are traditions. They're stories that people that knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that knew the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and they had a story, so they would give that, and that have all sorts of stuff in it, like what side of the bed he got up on in the morning, and what kind of food he ate, and all sorts of things, you know. So a lot of the next book, Sharia, a lot of Sharia is based on the Hadiths, because the Hadiths are stories, like I said, about Muhammad, bless his little heart, and because the Quran says to live your life like Muhammad, he's the perfect example, then that's why the Hadiths are important. And those Hadiths go a long way into creating Sharia, and that's what my next episode is going to be on, so I don't want to go into it too much, but Sharia, and this one is Sharia law for non-Muslims. So this is how it impacts us Kafirs. You know, it's not going to worry about how people in Islam exchange money or farm their fields, or they have too many marriages, things like that. Just going to worry about how it affects us. And then the last one is the 2-hour Quran. And you'll see here in just a second why he cut it down to a 2-hour Quran and made it mostly things that affect us Kafirs. Again, these books are by Dr. Bill Warner. Warner as in he is warning us. He is a warner who tells us about political Islam. So use those words to look up things on Amazon. You'll find it. Political Islam, Bill Warner. There you go. But the one I got today is the one I've been looking forward to getting. And you see, this is the 2-hour Quran. Well, today I got the Quran, the critical Quran by, it's getting a little more difficult to say every time I say it, the critical Quran by Robert Spencer. And this is just wonderful. I've had a chance to go through it just a little bit so far, but it is just, it's great. And it's going to be something that's very useful as a reference in our studies here at the Dar el Harb Center for the study of Islam. In fact, I'm just going to say this is required. The Bill Warner books are great. You really need to get them. But this is just wonderful. He has the original Quran interpreted there at the top, and then all the bottom there is all sorts of different ways of looking at that passage, all sorts of annotations. And because even though we are told that there's only one Quran that is perfectly preserved in heaven, and the Quran is the same all over and all of them, Robert Spencer references a bunch of different versions of the Quran. Most of them are different interpretations into English because of what they were supposing the word was supposed to mean. Dots were over it, or a wavy thing or something that made it one letter or another, or one word or another. So he puts all of those notations in there to let you know that that's not the only way that something can be seen and interpreted. But let me see if I can find a couple of my favorites here. Oh, you should recognize this one. No wonder it's the first one that I marked. Let not the believers take unbelievers for their friends in preference to believers. Whoever does that has no connection with Allah unless you are guarding yourself against them, taking security. Allah, what do we got here? Allah bids you beware of him. To Allah is the journey. A little hard to read with my specs on there, but anyway. But you get the drift. You get the drift. What else do we have here? Oh, you're going to enjoy this one. This is 434. Yeah, Surah 4, verse 34. And this is kind of the way you tell if you got you a good Quran in your hand, because he shows all down here about all the other versions. But this one says, men are in charge of women because Allah has made the one superior to the other, and because they spend of their property. So good women are obedient, guarding in secret what Allah has guarded. As for those from whom you fear disobedience, give them a warning and banish them to separate beds and beat them. Then if they obey you, do not seek a way against them. Indeed, Allah is always high, exalted and great. Okay, well that kind of tells you how Allah comes up with some of that stuff. He is always high, exalted and great. So I think I'll just leave it with that one for you to think about today. That was Surah 4, verse 34. And there are other versions that have beat them lightly or scourge them, which, whoa, that's pretty nasty. But and then also strike them is another version. But I think beat them covers it. And folks, that's why spousal abuse is condoned in Islam, because it's in the Quran as a direct, not just suggestion, command from their God, Allah. So there you go. But anyway, this is the new book by Robert Spencer, the Critical Quran, and I'm just going to be loving delving into this, because it will give me so much knowledge, and these other books that I've shown you will also give you lots of knowledge about Islam. And like I say, know about Islam so you can say no to submission. Thank you for watching, and go out and get your books.